Previously on the Lupe and Royce show.
Where'd you get that shirt?
I made this one. I asked my dear friend for one, and he said it'd be easier if you just made one than me having to go to the post office and ship you one.
Would be very
Man, listen, bro. I wish I would ask my man for some merch on his birthday. I might as well go up in the church and smack the reverend, bro. I'm a guy for him, man.
The Lupe and Royce show is a Say What Media production.
That was pretty good.
Yo, what up? This is Lupe Fiasco, and I'm struggling to find the activity that I'm doing right now.
Yo, what up? This is Royce the 5'9", and I got a new headset.
And this is Tom Frank. I'm just a regular dude, and you're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show, a weekly podcast covering a range of topics and guests, from music and poetry to comedy and politics. If you like the show, make sure to hit subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We would really appreciate it. And, guys, you can now leave us a voicemail at 707-276-6261. And maybe if it's interesting, it'll find its way onto this here podcast.
I feel a way, Tom, that even if it's not interesting, you're going to put it up anyway just for fan service.
Hey, I'm an advocate of the fan.
I'm not mad at it.
I think the fans appreciate that, so much so. We got a lot of positive feedback on the big birthday show last week.
I mean, why wouldn't you? It was a celebration of life.
It was an awesome episode, to say the least.
Royce, you look like an air traffic controller in your new headphone microphone setup over there, like a real gamer.
Like, I'm thinking more like the guy who brings in the airplanes.
Nah, but look, I want to thank y'all, man, for that birthday celebration. It was great. So thanks to you, Royce. Thanks to my mom, my sisters. Thank you, Tom. Thank y'all for putting that together, man. Miss Whitehead, Tony Baker, Kaylin Ellis. If you haven't heard the birthday episode, make sure you go check it out. Fans.
That boy Vic Mensa.
Oh, and shout out to Vic Mensa. Yep. That was super good.
We're gonna have Vic back. We just scraped the surface with Vic. There's a lot to go there.
He's super dope.
Yeah. Lou, I got to start with this. Your man, his wife got arrested in my backyard.
Who's man?
El Chapo.
What are you talking
about?
El
Chapo, your good friend, El Chapo's wife.
Got
arrested.
Yo, I thought you was talking
Dulles
about
airport.
I thought you were talking about one of my actual homies. I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Me too. I thought he was saying El Chapo was one of your.
Oh, but you mean
Why?
my? Oh no, you meant to say my dream guy is what you meant to say.
Oh, he is your dream guy.
My dream guy,
Did
El
you
Chapo.
Guys, have you seen his wife though?
I'm not commenting. His wife. I'm not commenting on that. You trying to die? Are you trying to die, Tom? He can touch you from prison.
I'm just making.
I didn't even know he had a wife. What wife?
He had a wife, and she got arrested.
Has a wife.
Airport
Come on, man. Present tense.
You was looking at her? Tom,
there was a New York Times article, and I happen to have it up on my screen right now.
Oh, you just happen to have it on your screen.
His wife happened to be up on your screen?
It just happened to be up on my screen.
Yo, look.
I read the New York Times. Do you not read the New York Times?
Look. I don't think that we should talk about this. This is unsafe territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be commenting.
I'm not talking about it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm done. Let's go to commercial.
I never was in the conversation. I was just over here. Yep, I got my headset. I got my microphone. Just lean back.
Where'd you get this headset that you're so proud of?
I ordered it.
Where do you order things? You order them from Amazon?
Sometimes.
Look how happy Royce looks. The smile.
He is happy.
His smile is.
Sometimes I go to Sweetwater.
You go to
usually Sweetwater.
Headsets.com? Is that what you expected? You went to headsets.com.
No, I would never go to headsets.com if that was a thing. That don't even sound cool. Sweetwater is what I go to.
Yeah.
Sweetwater.
Yep.
I'm an Amazon guy.
Okay.
With Sweetwater, they're focused. I'm not giving Sweetwater commercials. I'm done giving out things for free. I was going to go into a whole tirade about Sweetwater, but I'm not. I'm going to wait until they pay us.
Yeah, but Amazon don't count in that. I don't want to shout them niggas out either.
Yeah, Amazon not paying.
Fair enough.
They making more money than everybody.
They are making a lot of money.
See, that's the downside of a headset right there. See, Royce, is you can't hide when you yawning or burping. I done heard you yawn like 3 times. And if you wasn't having a headset on, I wouldn't have heard it. You would have been able to go like do one of those. But when the headset is, ain't no escape. No escape at all.
Nobody's gonna hear it when it comes out because Tom's gonna edit it.
I might not.
You know, Janet Jackson, that was her thing. Wearing the headset on
That
stage.
was her thing.
So she could have her hands free.
And
She was
when
kind of one of the first.
That was when she was at her greatest.
Yeah, but she was one of the first to do that
Had them hands out.
that I can remember.
But there's no escape. That's the only downfall. Like if you got to burp or do something. Like I mean,
But
maybe
now
you could
most,
hold it and
performers-
move it away, but it's gonna make a noise.
But don't most performers who dance significantly in their concert, they now wear those.
I mean, they got no choice, right? Royce, you dance? Have you ever done a dance routine at your concerts?
Shit, all the time.
You have a
talking about?
choreographed dance routine?
Yeah, I bust the funky moves to Tabernacle.
Now, do you guys wear the in-ear monitors when you perform?
Wear those too.
Yeah, I wear those.
Those drive you crazy?
Why? Why you say that?
I don't know. I tried one time and I didn't like it.
Why didn't you like it?
It went way into my ear.
You don't like that,
Why's
type.
that drive?
You don't like that type of
I
penetration.
don't want things way into my ears, like touching the back of my head.
I'm not doing all that. That's what. You sure you're using inner ears, like, or was it something else?
Think you're being a little dramatic there, Tom?
I might be a little dramatic.
They keep you from going deaf.
They do?
Yeah, and they also keep a consistent sound.
They plug your ears. They plug them so no other sound can get in.
Yep. And that way, no matter what type of room you in where you're performing, whether it's like some with a bad sound system or like a big ass stadium, it's the same mix. So it actually keep you from not from going deaf for sure, but that's a different thing. It actually keeps you from blowing out your vocals. That's the good side. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Now you know.
And I've been known to blow out my vocals.
Yeah, it keeps it.
You have.
Oh yeah.
Like right now, right? Like you wearing, like it's like you're wearing, like if we were smart, we would have been wearing headphones on stage this whole time, like from the beginning, or having inner ears the whole time. But because we didn't know no better, I'm sure there's plenty of people who had many sore throat nights after shows trying to scream over some bad monitors or some bad speakers in the club.
Yeah, those bad monitors. I used to have to get a steroid shot every time I went to Philly.
Real talk, man.
Philly was that bad?
No, I just knew a doctor in Philly.
You was just going to get steroids. I had nothing to do with the show. Like, you know what?
That's all it was.
I'm telling you, it'll bring your voice right back.
It does, though.
Steroids?
Yeah,
It's a steroid shot, yeah.
it do.
Where does this steroid shot go?
Right in your bum.
In the booty.
Okay.
In your booty.
And it fixes your throat immediately?
Fixes your vocal cord, your strained vocal cord.
I was getting steroid whenever I had I used to get abscesses in my throat, and the doc would give me steroid. Like my throat would just seal up, and I would have like concerts or whatever, and the doc would just hit me with the steroids, and it'd take a little time though for it to wear off. But by the time it's showtime, you're ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess if you're performing night after night after night after night, you got to have something.
You go from straight up laryngitis to good as new. That's magical.
I talk every day, and I've never had a steroid for my vocals.
But you don't rap.
I don't
day.
rap. Not yet.
Every day.
Not yet. The new record's coming out soon. It's coming out soon, guys.
Oh, so you have been working on your album?
Oh, yeah. I'm just using you guys to help me promote the album years in advance.
Well, I'm excited about your album.
Are you?
I must say that. Yes, I am. I am. I'm very excited about your album. I love
It's
what I
going
heard so far.
It's going a lot of different directions. I haven't quite figured out the central theme just yet.
Yeah. We're
Man,
gonna all come together on that.
Have you figured out how we getting paid though? Have you figured that out? Because it is week 20.
I have.
What is this? 29. It's getting out of hand. I think I'm finna go back to.
We got some sponsors starting to
Yeah.
Episode 29, and Lupe and I are still rich poor.
You're rich poor.
So how do we get out? So how do we get out of that?
We have some exciting things, though. I can't say them yet, but we have some new shows in the works that are going to join the network.
Bam!
So there's some very exciting things coming, fellas.
Are we slowly expanding?
If they want to join this network, they're gonna have to pay.
That's right. It's a very popular network.
I got something that I want to say to the fans.
Okay, please.
I can't remember what episode that was where we were reading. I think you played like a fan. Was it like a homage to me and Lou?
Oh yeah, it was a jingle for the.
What do you mean, Royce? That was the
show.
That was the very last show.
Yo, bro, he hit me on the DM. You know, like life is just. This is a pandemic. Life is just like a. So he hit me on the DM, and he was like, sorry to offend you guys. Like he thought that we were serious. Listen, guys. Don't take me and Lou serious. We are never serious.
No, guys. Royce is always serious. Don't let him think
I am not.
I'm the one who jokes. Royce is the bad cop in this situation. I'm good cop. Royce meant every word that he said, fans.
We speak fluent sarcasm and facetiousness. We're never serious. We would never, ever, ever say anything that would hurt your feelings. I promise you. All right? And shout out my man who sent that. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate you, man.
Oh, he must have
great.
He must have sent you some deep, like heartfelt, broken-hearted teardrop emojis for you to respond like that,
he just thought we was trying to play him, and we would never do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna try to play you, bro. I know him.
He actually
just
was
FYI.
like he actually was like that punk ass Lupe.
Yeah, he don't want to do that. He don't want to do that. He definitely.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. See,
I was just saying.
He doing it now. Lupe doing it.
You're right. You listen.
Now,
point proven, Royce. Point proven. Listen, fans of me and Royce, enemies of Tom.
And
please don't. I said enemies of Tom. Please, please. We are not accepting demos. Okay, so I don't want Tom to get you to think that this is just a record label. All right, like if you're gonna send something, send one verse, make it a 16 bars. Do your best. We ain't trying to hit no 3 minutes of you freestyling, and we ain't here for that. So just get it in 16 bars. Okay. Don't send us your whole album.
We're not here
for that.
We might start our own verses here.
I mean, fans versus fans.
Not.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Fan versus fan.
I'm not doing that. No,
fan versus fan. You could be the next host of American Idol. You could judge these people.
Are you wearing Under Armour?
I am.
They better send us a check.
Under Armour. Although I got my Lupe and Royce shirt underneath. I wear that every day.
You know what I'm on. Under Armour under the Lupe and Royce shirt.
You know what I'm on. I'm on this shop.lupefiasco.com. I got to get groceries.
Yeah, I still don't got one. I might as well just buy one.
I was supposed to make you one.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
No. Let me write it down.
It's all right.
Write it down.
Because that was last episode too.
That was last episode.
Yo,
make Royce a shirt.
You got to write that down. Yo,
I got promised the world.
Yo, I want to send some get well soons to Tiger Woods.
Yes.
As of today, had a real bad car accident. So just want to send him some get well soon.
In L.A., I believe, right?
In Cali. I don't know if it's L.A., but in Cali. So
in Cali, he broke both his legs and is in. I don't think he's not in life-threatening situation, but still, major car accident.
If I seen the footage of the car accident, it was bad. Tiger Woods.
Woods. I didn't see the footage. I just read an article.
Yeah, I seen the footage. It's bad. The car was out there to get him out with the jaws of life. So get well soon, okay? Tiger. He was in surgery. I think his Tom. You just read out what it was. He broke both his legs or something like that.
Broke both of his legs. Yeah, and he was in surgery.
Yeah. So get well soon, Tiger. Prayers go out.
Wow.
Tiger Woods. What do you think of Tiger Woods?
I like Tiger.
He's had a bit up and down career.
I'm not a huge golf fan, but
I am not either. I actually can't stand watching golf on TV.
I wouldn't go that far. Like, how you gonna see Tom?
I'm
You can't
gonna
just
go that
you can't
far.
just start dissing. You know, we got fans who are probably professional golfers, man. You can't just like, I hate
Hey,
that sport.
I got nothing against being a professional golfer. I just find watching it on, and this is not the fault of the golfer. This might be the fault of how we broadcast golf. I find it to be very boring.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to lower your expectations, Tom. Everything can't be balloons and clown shirts. You know, having sex with each other at secret birthday parties at Burger King. You know, you just can't. It ain't all that, Tom. Sometimes it's just nice meditative, you know, silence and, you know.
I don't remember that episode.
Meditative. You don't remember the Burger King
Not really.
and the Ronald McDonald in a fist fight on my shirt?
A fisting fight.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Not a fist fight, Tom. A fisting
I
fight.
think you got to re-listen to these episodes, Royce.
No, I'm just kidding. Man. I'm just messing with you. I think I'm messing with you because I didn't get my shirt yet.
Now, do you want a wavy shirt, or do you want? Maybe I'll just create your own brand for you.
Ooh.
Call it straight.
Ooh.
I want my wavy shirt.
Yeah, get him a wavy shirt,
Okay.
man.
I'll get you a wavy shirt. I wrote it down on my pad in my pad right here.
Give me a kick push shirt too.
No,
kick
don't
push shirt. Yeah, we'll
don't do
start
that.
making those, too.
Don't start this. Don't have me send somebody to your house, Tom.
Kick push shirt.
He said that shit calm and said, "Don't have me
You
send somebody."
you
to
do
your
realize
house,
next week I will be wearing a kick push shirt.
Tom.
All
Don't
right,
have me
okay.
send
Don't
somebody
worry.
to your house.
Yeah,
Tom, don't have me send somebody to your house, man.
You're
You
wearing
know, you
your
got the
Philadelphia Philly
Sinaloa
tag.
cartel all in your backyard. It ain't nothing to get the Allensworth cartel all up in your area as well.
You want me to send somebody to your house, Tom?
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank.
Okay, Lupe Fiasco, now that you're a wise old man at 39 years of age, what kind of advice do you have for our listeners?
Royce, you know I want them to find happiness and achieve their goals.
Sounds like a time to recommend our sponsors, BetterHelp, which provides professional counseling in a safe and private online environment. Lou, tell our listeners how they can benefit from BetterHelp.
Well, first, you can start communicating with the counselor in less than 24 hours. You can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, send messages to them anytime, and even change counselors for free if needed. BetterHelp's licensed professionals specialize in topics like depression, stress, anxiety, trauma, and anger. Anything you want to add, Royce?
Look, you all know I recommend therapy because therapy definitely changed my life. BetterHelp is convenient, professional, affordable, and anything you share with your counselor is confidential.
Get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/Lupe and Royce. That's BetterHelp, HELP/Lupe and Royce.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank. Hey, what's that painting behind you?
None of your business. How about that? How about you mind
Wait,
your
it's
business?
right
Stay
in
out
the
of my
frame.
house, man.
It's
Stay
in
I
the
don't
frame.
even
It is
listen.
my business.
Listen, it wouldn't even. I don't even want you in my house. Like, I don't want to do this visual thing. I've never wanted to do this. I just want to do all sound. So you stay out of my house.
I want to know what that is back
I
there.
don't
It's
care
kinda
what
cool
you want to
looking.
know. Listen, Tom, don't have me send people to your house, man. You want me to send some people to your house? I'll send some people to your house. Yo, I just want to let you know, man. I didn't touch not nan piece of that cake.
Why not?
I don't know, man. When I put the candle in it, it was kind of crunchy, and I was like, is it supposed to be soft? Like, I don't know what was going on. So it's just been sitting in my refrigerator. Till then, it's been in there for
I'm
a
glad
week.
you said cake.
The-
You just reminded me I want to get some cake.
The longer you keep it in the refrigerator, the harder it's going to get.
Oh, no, that cake is finished. I'm just keeping it in there for posterity's sake. Eventually,
For
it'll be
posterity.
thrown in the trash, yeah. It'll be thrown in the garbage in days.
I would do something with it. Hang it up as a piece of artwork in the back there.
Hang it. Okay. You know what? No.
I just ordered cake.
All right, we're going to dive into something now. That it's time. It's time to
Yo,
make a hard right turn.
I want to order some cake. Hold on, Tom.
Hold
I
on
want to
with
be
your
like Rice.
cakes.
I want some cake. Okay.
Wait, you're going to order cake right now?
I don't know how he did that. He did it with such expediency and speed. I'm interested. I want the luxuries that he possesses. Anyway. All right,
you
what
order
time?
off
What we diving in? What we doing?
All right, we're diving in here. We have an interesting guest today. A friend of Royce's, I believe. Yeah, Maj Toure. Maj is the founder of Black Guns Matter, which advocates for basic firearm safety for hoods across America.
Wait, is this what we're doing right now? Is this happening? Hold on.
we
Y'all
doing
continue.
this.
We're going to get
I'll
deep
be right
into this.
back. I'll be right back.
Where's he going?
He about to go get a hammer.
So Maj is a hip hop artist turned Second Amendment activist from North Philly. I'm going to let him on the show right now.
Maj.
Welcome, sir.
Peace.
Shalom, what's going on?
Hey, Lupe, I think Lupe went to go get some guns.
We got him excited about this subject, and he just up and left, and I don't know where he went. I was in the middle of introducing you.
I got a couple around.
You do?
Yeah, I got a VP9 right here, a Hellcat, a Sig. Oh, this is my Valentine's Day shit right here.
Whoa.
But this is actually a conversion kit, so you could take this out, and then this is just a drum, but you could just like convert it to like, it's almost like it turns a handgun into like a short little SBR type situation.
So you can shoot it like a rifle.
Yeah, and so it's a very convenient way of getting around NFA items. Anytime you get a rifle that's short barrel, shorter than 16 inches, you got to pay the government extra money and wait for them to like okay you. So that way, a lot of people do like AR pistol, so technically it's still a pistol, so they don't have to deal with that NFA item and that tax and all that other goofy shit. You know what I mean?
So Maj, let's take a step back. Now you're a Philly guy, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I appreciate that. I'm from Pennsylvania as well.
Word.
State-
What part of Pennsylvania?
I'm from
See, here
State
we
College,
go.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Right where Penn State is. Now, I had to choose.
It's not the same, Tom.
Well, I had to choose growing up. Am I a Philly guy or am I a Pittsburgh guy?
No, look, if you in any other part of Pennsylvania, you know what I mean, you could say a Philly guy and they won't know. Maybe Pittsburgh, but
Pittsburgh. That's what I'm saying. You had to
in
choose.
Philly, they gonna know, and they gonna be like, "What? Wait, what? You from Pennsylvania?"
Now wait a minute. Now my wife and her entire family is from Philly, so now I have become more and more of a Philly guy.
Oh, you absolutely like it. Ain't no Dallas Cowboy shit happening at all in your house. I can
Not
tell
at
you
all.
that right now.
Not at all, because you Philadelphia people are crazy
Yeah,
about your
There's something
sports.
wrong with it.
Yes.
I was telling like one of my homegirls said she dated this guy and he was like, look, even if we don't date anymore, just never date a dude from Philly. Like literally told her that. And was like and she was like, what was that about? And I was like, nah, he's right. Like there's no, it's like it's not even, it's just something. It's the birthplace of slavery in America. It's the birthplace of America. So it's a certain level of, it's a gray. I mean, y'all get it. Any hood has that certain level of gray cloud if certain issues haven't been addressed. But Philly for sure, it's, I don't know, man. It's artistic and it's blue collar and it's a lot of money here, but it's like a really poor big city, like all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's the same.
It's a perfect way to, yeah.
Like that, but Philly, it's the cheesesteaks, I think.
I don't know what to pull out from my side. I don't have anything.
You don't have no guns?
I don't.
Why? What's wrong?
I've just never had one, ever.
Is it like I just don't rock with it, or just never thought of it?
I don't think I've ever thought of it, to be honest with you.
You never been robbed?
I have been robbed before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Tell us that story.
In my old house, I was working. It was late at night one night, and I heard something in the garage, and I ran down out there, and by the time I got out there, all I could see was somebody running. And I didn't even know what to do.
So you got, no, that's not a rob. You got stuff stolen.
I got stuff stolen. That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good
you
point.
ain't getting robbed.
No, you're right. You're right. So no, I've never been officially robbed, and maybe that is my thought process.
Have you ever been to like the gun range?
I have not.
Have you ever shot a gun?
I have not.
Oh man, you gotta shoot guns. I mean, so wait. So now I'm a person that never tells anybody they have to have a gun if they don't want one, right? Because you might know your temperament and you might just not be sharing it with nobody else. If you like, nah, I'm gonna shoot the shit out of somebody for like cutting me off. If that's where you at,
my Instagram name is Tom on Edge. I typically am on edge quite a bit.
yeah, see,
Tom, you get upset. You get upset over. You get road rage.
Oh, I get road rage.
You do.
nah,
Oh yeah.
why?
I gotta control
somebody
myself with my kids in the car.
Somebody cut me off and blew at me today, and I had the hammer on me as always. So I'm driving, and I never drive, and we just so happened to be at the light with each other, and I just didn't even look over there because I didn't even want to put myself. I didn't even want to put them in the position that they didn't know that they were in.
Yep.
I was just in there just surrounded by shit.
Look, as a gun owner, your first, for me at least, or what we teach in our classes is your first reaction is like, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, it's my fault, my bad, I'm out. You know what I mean? At any given moment, like it's just the rounds don't. It's like trying to put toothpaste back in a tube. It don't go back. So them rounds that come out, they got a case and potential jail time and death and trauma associated with it. You know what I mean? So, but Tom, if your twist is like, nah, I might spaz, don't get a gun. However, if you can meter that with the thought process of like, no one's coming to save you. Like the police don't give a fuck. Like they have no obligation to protect you at all. Do you really want to outsource your security to them? You know what I mean? Or you know, every time you go outside without a firearm or a tourniquet, right? Because you know what I mean? Like I keep a tourniquet around. I just be giving them to people. You know, you are pretty much going outside on wings and a prayer and depending on the kindness of strangers. You know what I mean? So like, I would just try it. See if you like it. Try different firearms out. You know what I mean? Don't be like you ain't got to be like a super like gun dude. I'm not a gun dude. I'm a freedom dude. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. So you're advocating for people to have a gun, and I'm not opposed. I don't know exactly where I sit on this topic, but I would say this, right? If you look across, gun violence in the U.S. is higher than almost any other country in the world.
True and not true. As in all things, is context. But continue.
And my point was, we are one of 3 countries that actually carrying a gun is legal at this point, and yet we probably have one of the highest percentages of gun violence. I mean, what do you say to the countries that say if we eliminate guns, that the threat of gun violence obviously significantly lowers? Well,
They're wrong. They're wrong and right at the same time. They do this thing with stats, right? So let's say on average, they'll say this thing like we have the most. First, you got to look at the term gun violence, right?
Okay.
That off the top is a misnomer. Violence is violence. So Pete, Tom goes to the grocery store. Tom's on edge. Somebody cuts him off and with their cart, Tom stabs him with a butter knife. Do you call that knife violence?
Probably not.
You don't. The phrase don't even fucking exist. It's like almost like, why are we even calling it? Violence is violence.
Yeah.
So that's the first misnomer, right? Then when you go down the rabbit hole of that, what do you call it? Like context. You go, okay, well, how many deaths, gun violence deaths, are there annually, right? And the people that's listening, right, gun violence, air quotes, that on average is about 30,000 deaths that are associated with firearms annually in America. What they don't tell you is 60% of those are suicides. 60%. So, and then let's go with the remaining 40%, right? Let's say if Tom decided to get a gun, Lupe's out with his mini Draco.
Please leave me out of this equation. Tom, please. I've had enough being implicated into crimes. No, thank you, Maj.
Into his foolishness. So everybody's out, and we all do the right thing. We use our firearms to defend life, right?
No, Maj, please.
Doesn't even have to.
Listen, Maj.
No,
please.
You see situational
please.
awareness.
I'm not there, Maj.
Maj,
I'm not
No,
there.
you're good.
I'm
You're
not
being
with
good
y'all.
here.
I'm not
Right?
there. Lupe is at home.
No,
I didn't even come
You didn't
outside.
even, you didn't even come outside?
So he don't even count in the percentage. So that's a good. Royce looks the person that honked him down, and the guy tries to shoot him, and Royce uses his firearm in a self-defensive shooting, clearly to protect life. Tom uses the firearm to clearly protect life, right? Clearly those were bad guys with bad intentions, and fortunately your training, you stopped the threat. Everybody stopped the threat. Clearly the bad guy. Those people will still be counted as gun violence. So they play this weird stat game where it's like, oh yeah, it's all of this death, and you ignore it. First of all, I don't care what game you in. To ignore 60% of anything in any game, you're clearly not telling the whole truth. Like 60% is a large number, right?
There's a large number, yeah.
When people say that, I empathize because I know that they are moving from a place of they've been manipulated by, like corporate media or whatever to make them. I mean, it's like, damn, when you hear 30,000 people a year, you hear that number and you're like, yo, that's way too much. We got to do something about that. But it's almost like tricking people to like kill the flies and leave the garbage. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I would share with those people. And then try to also find out where is their trauma. Like people that generally are anti-gun, I'm not saying anybody in this room is anti-gun, right? Most people aren't really anti-gun. They say they're anti-gun, but they're not really. But the few people that are really anti-gun, I try to figure out, or just don't like guns or whatever. It's either the misinformation or where their trauma is. You know what I mean? They had a family member that the little one got access to a firearm and killed themselves, or some idiot decided to shoot dude across the street because, he ain't like his sneakers and he wanted them or whatever. So I try to find out where the trauma is in their life first and come from a point of empathy. I'm not talking to nobody that lost a family member to firearms and ignorance around it about a gun. I'm trying to help them heal first. So usually I find out where they misinformation at, like that 60% stat, or I find out where their pain is and then move from that point. You know what I mean?
What do you think, though, about, like, when you look at these mass shootings, right? I mean, I went to Virginia Tech. There was a mass shooting at Virginia Tech. It was somebody who had access.
What, 8?
It was 2008 or 2010. I actually can't remember. But, I mean, how do you respond to that? I mean, that's clearly somebody who should not have had a firearm, who went crazy on innocent people, lots of people. And that Virginia Tech's is one of many that has happened across our country over the last X number of years.
So one, we got to go back to words and etymology and these ways that they twist words up. You got to go by the definition of what they're calling a mass shooting, right? Now, based on that definition, a mass shooting is anything where 4 or more people, seemingly unrelated, are murdered in the same vicinity. Right? So a lot of times, let's say if it's a party in an urban center and 3 or 4 people are caught in the crossfire, technically that's a mass shooting, right? Then when you understand that definition, you got to look at why they only talk about this mass shooting under their definition, but not this mass shooting under that same definition. So when you talk about that, you got to look at where are these, when you use the Virginia Tech example, right? Mm-hmm. That's a gun-free zone. The areas predominantly where there's the most mass shootings, which also make up less than 1% of all shootings. Less than 1% of all shootings are this thing that we call mass shootings, right? You got to look at where they happen. They happen in gun-free zones. Gun-free zones were created by Joe Biden in 1990. That was his work. And since 1990, over 95% of mass shootings are in gun-free zones. Why? Because if I'm the bad guy and I have all of these guns that I want to, you know, shoot somebody, I generally don't want rounds going back at me, right? So we got to look at that whole picture. I think that where we fail on the pro-gun side, I'm saying pro-gun so people can understand, you know, pro-gun, anti-gun, whatever. But where we fail is we look like we don't care and we just don't have no empathy for the death, right?
Mm-hmm. That is
And
how it
that's
comes
because
across. Yeah.
Right. We go so hard from a statistic, and that matters to a certain extent, right? What matters more is empathy, and I don't care if it's 2 deaths that are, you know, preventable, right? They're preventable. So when you say a mass shooting, you got to look at the definition, and you got to factor in, like, damn, why are over 90% of these mass shootings happening in gun-free zones? Why are they happening there? Because the bad guy has made a decision. I want to go to a place where I can inflict the most damage with the least resistance. The guy that shot up the movie theater in Aurora, if I'm saying that right, Colorado. They asked him, because, you know, they conveniently took him into custody without killing him, but that's a sidebar. They asked him, why did he choose that location? He had actually drove past like 5 or 6 other movie theaters because that one was a gun-free zone. So you can't, again, if we're looking at the stats and if we are utilizing that as a part of our assessing tool, we got to look at, okay, these bad guys are picking locations where there's nobody there to return fire. You know, those little catchphrases like armed society is a polite society. There's something to that. If I don't want no smoke, I'm not going to create no fire. And so a lot of times guys that are weirdos or have serious mental issues, they still smart enough or not crazy enough to go to a place where there's going to be very little to no resistance. And a lot of times after those people are stopped, whether they put into custody or whatever, presented by, firepower or somebody just trying to stop them, a lot of times they usually kill themselves. So that's kind of like the overarching theme. A lot of the things that we're told about this quote unquote gun violence or mass shootings, we don't know all of the story because quote unquote left or right, they're gonna tell the story with they slant on it, and people on the so-called right are guilty of it too. You can't pretend like we don't have a mental health issue. You can't, like, what the fuck? Like, we don't even be knowing what chemicals we putting in our bodies for like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the pharmaceuticals. But then if you start talking about that, then everybody wants to shut you up because now you're going into a whole nother world and you fucking the bag up. You know what I mean? The pharmaceutical bag, the FDA bag, all that other type of shit. So they just put out like half of the conversation a lot of times. And I get it. I mean, I'm not emotionally attached to why they do it. I just know why they do it. So usually when people ask those questions, it's a great opportunity for us to exercise the empathy that we generally have, as well as to like inform people about the other part of the story that they kind of missing.
I mean, I've dealt with guns intimately since I was like 3 years old. So my dad used to sell weapons. He's at Army surplus stores. So I dealt with it in a law enforcement capacity, a military capacity. I actually go out and train with be on military bases with sniper teams. So I've dealt with it in every single capacity. Yeah. From the streets, with just my own collection, from collecting to sports to sports shooting to the whole array. I still have not heard a credible argument about why the average person on the street should have a gun. And that's with me being deeply in it, period. And that same piece about, and from the gun company side, which is super interesting, because at the end of the day, the only group that's profiting from this, apart from, government taxes and registration fees and stuff like that, is these gun companies, right? So they have a bias as well in terms of stats, the way things are represented, certain narratives, certain stories. Suicide is a thing. Like, sure. Those people, whether they took their own life, when they took their own lives, there's still a life that potentially could have been saved if they did not have access. Mm-hmm. And I talk people down from suicide all the time, just FYI, right? So it makes it very easy. That's why it's 60%, because it's easy. It's an easy way to kill yourself. But even with that said, I still look at who benefits at the end of the day, right? And it's H&K, right? It's companies based in America, right? That manufacture guns in America or distribute weapons in America, that still benefit from this violence, right? And it doesn't matter once it leaves the factory. I mean, they already got their check, right? So it's not like there was an issue with the gun violence in Chicago, where it's like, well, where they getting the guns from, right? So you had the straw man purchases. You have folks who actually were just legal, right? Able to go in and buy, 30 straps and, pass them out in the hood or do whatever, right? But then you also had like people going to gun shows and, buying a crate of AKs and selling it out the back of a truck and doing all that. Like all that stuff is real. But the one thing that does not change, and no matter what that transaction is, whether it's illicit or legal, is that when that gun left the factory, it was paid for. Right. So whether it's illegal violence, illegal violence, gang shootings, mass shootings, the security guard at the movie theater, the cop, whoever, the one entity that still benefits from all of this is the gun manufacturers, right? That are based in California, based in Georgia, based in Illinois. Right. So I still kind of have a certain sense that no matter what argument that you put, and I say credible, whatever argument you put up for having guns, it still traces back and is still reinforced and promoted by these gun manufacturers, right, who have a incentive to keep the violence going, to keep the fear going, to keep all those aspects present in society, because they benefit from it at the end of the day. And this is from a guy who has multiple collections, right, part of it, right, but that's still kind of, being as an insider, that's one thing that I still kind of like. Yeah, you could blame farmers, you can blame this, you can blame that, but I mean, these gun companies, they got Instagram pages for a reason,
Well, I think that you being a gun owner doesn't make you an expert on that, and you're wrong. That's just
I'm wrong in what way?
From a perspective of you feeling
in what
like.
Way?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. You feeling like you
okay?
Where you're not wrong. Let's start with the good part, right? Where you're not wrong is no one's argument is ever going to be credible enough to somewhat justify. And I'm not saying that me as a gun owner, me as a person that trains people in firearms handling and things like that we're asking for this, but no argument is credible enough to justify whether it's intentional or unintentional, somebody dying with any type of tool. I don't care. I mentioned a tourniquet. Somebody bleeding out in a car accident to me is like, I can't justify. It's really easy to use a tourniquet. It's like you just practice. It's really easy. And a lot of life could be saved. There's no credible argument to me that somebody could say, well, I didn't know how to use a tourniquet. To me, it's dumb. Now, I'm right in my feeling. The problem with feelings are then there's this pesky thing called facts. The fact of the matter is gun manufacturers who I am not a part of, I am not paid by any gun manufacturing company. I have my own line of rifle. This is my rifle, the Solutionary rifle. We, as a manufacturer, someone that makes firearms, does not benefit from death at all. That would be the equivalent of saying car manufacturers benefit from accidents or drunk driving. It's not accurate. Even if you're sued, a lot of the lawsuits are user error, so forth and so on. But even if you sued for $100 million, it doesn't make sense. It actually would put companies in the red. So based on like numbers,
just to be clear,
I think that's
I said the narrative,
those,
right? The narrative of fear, right? So not just death, but just like
and
the narrative
that's the part
of fear,
that I'm agreeing with.
The narrative of violence,
yeah,
and all its facets, the fashionability of it, to have a red one and then get a yellow one and then get one to match your car and get one to match your holster, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I can agree with that in the sense of, I mean, that part is math too. If I sell rifles and I want you to buy one in pink and blue, just like sneakers, just like cars, profit plays a part in any company. If I make a dope album, I want you to buy it. That is capitalism. That is the exchange of goods and services for capital, for dollars, right? Or whatever form of currency. So in that sense, yeah, absolutely, there is an incentive to purchase, for us to do marketing, and for you to buy more firearms. The problem is the gun companies, especially up until the last few years, have been trash at marketing. They've been marketing to the same demographic, which is law enforcement and military. I just did the cover of a magazine that never had a regular dude that wasn't a so-called operator on it, right? That's dumb. Even before the last few years, the vast majority of, gun buyers were not, outside of contracts, because I want to be very, objective and honest. Outside of military contracts, on the consumer level, it is not just law enforcement and military dudes, super operators that's wearing camo on their face. That's not the case. Their marketing has been trash, in my opinion, for years. Because I'm like, yo, y'all don't even have black people in your ads. Like, that's stupid. Like, that's dumb, And so it also pushes a different narrative of, like, this is only for the white boys club. This is only for the good old boys network. And that's also false. Black people in America, Nicholas Johnson wrote a great book called, Negroes and the Gun. Black people in America have had a long-standing and rich tradition with firearms since the time we got here or were already here. That argument is, people go back and forth about that all day. Yes, there is an incentive to, as any company has, to maximize on profit. It is not an incentive, and I think some of this is government related. I think people are like, last year we had 8 million new gun owners. 8 million. The largest new demographic of firearms purchases are black women, right? That was part of my goal in starting Black Guns Matter. More black people need to buy guns and train with them. Not because, we want to make, the gun companies rich. Surplus Army is a black-owned manufacturing company right out of, not far from Philly, right? Not because of that, but because of no one is coming to save you. We are outsourcing and dependent on government to defend us after we just said government is over policing our neighborhoods, brutalizing us, all of those other different things. That's why I want people to buy guns and train. Let me be very clear. I do not trust this government at all. If you do, anyone does, you're not really paying attention out here. So I'm good with people purchasing fire. I would love for us to be more on the manufacturing side. My guy Black Rambo has his own ammo, My guy Argo J, this is his rifle right here, the Bravo Oscar. I would love to see us more on the manufacturing and profit side in a safe and responsible way. But the government is jumping in the way and making people fearful. And people went to, those 8 million new gun owners went to what they intrinsically knew. You cannot depend on the government. They take forever to come. And if they do come, they might shoot me like thinking I'm the bad guy. So that part I disagree with. But on the part of there being a profitability, and I don't need anybody to agree with my credible nature of not trusting government. And
my
potentially having to go.
The average citizen, right? Like, I haven't heard a credible argument of why the average citizen, right? Not the person who's a criminal, the person who's just in an active environment, right? That is because most folks don't encounter violence like that, right? They're not under threat like that. And that was kind of my piece about not just gun manufacturers, gun promoters, things of that nature, gun shops, things of that nature, pushing a narrative, inventing a bad guy, right? And then playing that down to the average person to have, because when you say there's 8 million people who knew gun owners, my response is like, for what? If you went to each one of those people and was like, why? On a micro, but even on a macro, like for what? Like, what's the goal in having 8 million new knowing that it's a repeat thing as well. Like you got this one, I get this one, I get this one, get that one. Repeat buyer kind of aspect to it, like going to get shoes. Like that's going to happen, right? You're going to buy this, then you're going to get this for the crib, then you're going to get this for the car, then you get your CCW, then you do this, you do that, right? And you 9 times out of 10, you're not going to use it at all, except at the range, right? Like you're not finna get into a shootout. You're not finna get into these.
Like 9.9 times out of 10,
and the
right?
crazy
You're not
part,
going to use it.
If you did get into a shootout, if you did get,
so let me ask y'all this.
2 seconds.
The
If you did get into a shootout,
go ahead, my fault.
right? The chances of you, no matter how good you train, right? The chances increase for you hitting somebody else, right? That ain't involved. It just everything levels up, especially in a situation where, military police is different because you can isolate. I'm gonna say military. I'm gonna leave police out just for the sake of not having controversy. But you're in a war zone, like you're isolating a certain thing, right? There's a certain level of we're gonna go into this spot. It is a battle box, weapons free. Let's go, right? But there's so many layers and rules to that. And then the other side of it, and I'll finish on this, is there's more diplomacy that happens on the operator side, on the military side, than actual, fingers on triggers. Right? It's like diplomacy is what wins wars, right? Diplomacy is what settles things, right? And you can have all the violence, all the bombs you want, but if you don't have a diplomatic way to talk through certain situations or remove yourself from certain equations, it don't matter how many guns you got.
So, yeah, that's why we don't advocate for people to just run to the firearm as their first line of defense in situations. You said something that no matter how much training you have, that's wrong. That's wrong. Training, just like martial arts. Do you go to your sword the first time, as soon as somebody just steps on your toe? No. You de-escalate, or you avoid getting your toe stepped on in the first place. As a gun owner, these are the things that we educate all gun owners on. That's number one. Number two, to train someone to use that. So we got a ton of stuff. So, for example, I got tasers over there. I have obviously something very
Maj,
simple.
well, I feel like your room is
utilize.
just like the Matrix gun room right now. You got like it's a cartoon
I know,
bomb. Like you're gonna pull up, them
impression.
old cartoon bombs from
No,
Tom and Jerry, the big round bowling ball. Like we got these right here just in case. You know what I'm saying? Now I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, brother.
if they go this way, we got them with these. Something as simple as a flashlight, right? And situational awareness, right? Something as easy as something don't look right over there, and just hitting somebody with a quick flash, letting them know that, hey, I see you. Just things that are deterrents. Because when I say crime and when I say criminals, I mean people that want to violate your body or your property, right? Yeah. I'm not talking about dudes that just sold some weed. I don't even count that, right? Violent crime. Those type of guys don't want someone to pay attention to them, right? So little things in regards to training, and I'm saying wrong in the sense of I'll add on. I know what you mean. I'm just saying I want to add on to it. I think that's a more empathetic and better way to say that. When you're talking about training, one of the basic 4 rules of firearm safety is know your target and what's beyond it. It's not a good shot. I'm not taking the shot. You know what I mean? I know my target, but I don't know what's beyond it. Something simple as, are you carrying self-defensive rounds that don't over-penetrate? Or are you carrying training rounds because they're cheaper that do over-penetrate, right? These are all a part of training. These are all a part of de-escalation, conflict resolution, avoidance. I hope I got a bunch of guns. I've been shot at and been in 3 shootouts. They are chaos. I think that the general public trains to, if you're ever in that scenario, you have the ability to defend yourself. I think that, it may never happen, so I'm not going to be prepared if it does happen, is a very simplistic or limiting viewpoint to have. Tupac, what are the chances of him being accosted by 2 drunk off-duty police officers that put his life in imminent danger? And he shot them, both of them, and didn't go to jail, right? So, of course, we generally may say, or some people would say, there's no way. The police are never going to do that, right? There's millions of police law enforcement interactions every day. What are the chances of, but then that happened to one of the most iconic hip hop artists of all time, right? And he was in position and defended his life. So I'm not really concerned about I only need it to happen one time. That's like all of these firearms that are around are clear. There's no magazine. There's no rounds chambered. Every single time that I put the gun down and pick it up, I'm going to do a press check. I'm going to check to make sure that visibly and physically check that barrel and that magazine to make sure that there's no rounds in it. I don't care if I put it down. I talk to y'all. I'm right here. I'm going to check every time. I only need it to be wrong one time. If I'm not armed, if I don't have something to defend myself from some weirdo one time, all I need is that one time. So the position of, well, you generally 99.9% of the time won't have to. Okay, what about that 0.1 time? What about all of them people that are in spaces where some weirdo comes in there, there's nobody there to return fire? I think those people deserve to make it home that night. To my gay homies that was killed in the Post nightclub, right? I wish somebody would have been in there with a firearm to return fire to that guy, like the guy that tried to go up in that church in Texas and got domed out because he wanted to shoot people, and the carnage could have been much more, right? These are the Dylan Roofs of the world, right? If he picked that church because he knew it was a gun-free zone, I would have loved for there to be somebody to defend life. You cannot stop an evil dude from doing what an evil dude wants to do, especially if you're unarmed. If he's made that decision or she's made that decision, the only thing that's going to stop them is somebody that's equally trained or has the means to stop them. That's that. So I don't really train under the thought process that this may never happen. You know, I hope none of us are never in a car accident, but we still going to drive safely. We still going, we still going to do the speed limit. We still going, do the 10 and 2 thing. We still going to generally put on our safety belts, and I hope it never happens. I think training is for those things that are, accidents and or rare and or the unforeseen. I want to train to the point that if I happen to run across the unforeseen, I'm in position. I know how to swim because when I'm taking a flight across a big ass ocean, if this joint go down and if I somehow live, I want to be able to swim and not die because I didn't know how to swim. That's rare, but I think we should prepare for it. And not to mention the fact that I have a right to have as many motherfucking guns to protect myself against weirdos and corrupt government officials as I want to. My position on that isn't I don't trust the government. I live in Philly. I live where Move 9 movement bombing happened in the 80s. I don't trust these motherfuckers for anything. And I'm not going to outsource my security to them, nor am I going to be met with superior firepower because of the fact that, somebody might just think I shouldn't have that many. Fuck no. Nah, man. I'm a student of Malcolm. I don't know about that other shit. You know what I mean?
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank. Dive into the hilarious mind of some of the world's funniest people on a brand new podcast, Comedy Gold Mines with Kevin Hart. From rising stars to comedy legends, Kevin will pair with comedic tastemakers for ear-opening dialogue that takes listeners on a wild and crazy ride through some of the world's top comedic minds. Listen as guests like Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Burr, and Hassan Minhaj chronicle their comedy club experience, give sneak peeks into their latest material, share inside jokes with Kevin, and more. New episodes of Comedy Gold Mines are now out. Subscribe on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank. I will say this to your point, to your point, Madge, about having a healthy, the mistrust for the government and guns and that stuff. The reason I got a whole shitload of guns, allegedly, is because I like guns. It's just flat like that. I like AK-47s. I collect the various models of the AK-47s, from the Dragunovs to the Dracos to the mini Dracos to the different Romanian and war. I just love Warsaw pack weapons. So anytime I get the opportunity to buy them and collect them and shoot them, that's what I love, right?
Right.
And
in the same way people collect cars.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Right.
It ain't got
Yeah.
nothing to do with politics. It ain't got nothing to do with violence or fear, or trying to prove a point or anything
protection.
like that. It's just like, I
Right.
like this machine. I study it. I read the book. I know how it works. I just like the way it looks, as an artifact for humanity, right? So that's my piece. Like, yes, there's certain things about the government that we should be aware of, but then there's also, there's things that the government don't do. Like sometimes we project too much power, too much influence, too much intrigue onto certain institutions that's not really there, but that's their game, right? To get you to overthink certain situations and have you in a certain instability. Not saying that that's where we are or not, but there's also that aspect to it too,
Yeah, I agree. It's a
That's
balance.
how I feel about record labels.
Yeah. It's like it's like, yo, the label gonna put you on. Are they though? Right. The government is absolutely coming to kill you tomorrow. Are they though? Right. Like it's a balance there. And for me, like I said earlier, I'm not a gun dude. Like I know my thing is, I know them. I know what they do. I know which ones I shoot best with. But you asking me about being a historian, I'm a freedom dude. That is a tool to protect my freedoms. That's all it is. And a lot of times, your freedom ain't in jeopardy. That's Toulouse's point too. Like a lot of times motherfuckers be thinking it's like, oh, it's on. It ain't on, bro. Whether that's the gun, the government, or that girl.
Right.
You thought it was on.
Right.
It's clearly not. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the balance that, again, at these classes, man, we have these deeper conversations where it turns into that, where it's like, no, if absolute, where I disagree a bit, if they say, yo, these are illegal, turn them in, I'm not turning the motherfucking thing in. I'm willing to die.
So he's turning them in. You're not turning them in.
Yo.
Royce doesn't have any.
You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me I'm supposed to be down with patriotism and America, and I live here. I love it here. I'll re-up on America every year. I've been to places. My stepfather from Jamaica, they family didn't have a front door. Like, so.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Now wait. Just so we're clear, okay? I did not take that front door because I know that's gonna come up in the comments. I did not take Maj Toure's grandparents or father's front door.
You
okay?
stole the wrong door this time.
Where was it at, Maj? Where was it at, Maj?
No, what I'm saying is, I live in a place. It's a lot of fucked up shit here in America, but it's a lot of opportunity and great shit here too. So I'm always in that middle ground. I don't do the extremes. That's that Sith path. I'm on that Jedi middle shit. My thing though is, there's currently we have a lot more liberty and freedom than a lot of places, and people that claim that poor shit, bro, you got a $600 iPhone. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? So my point in that is, to Lou's point, I want to make sure that we understand that you do have a lot more freedom and passion and opportunity and just ability than some places, right up the street from you country-wise, right? I just know that because how government moves and because I don't trust them, I'm never gonna like, when the police be like, yo, we going gunless, then I'll think about it. You know what I'm saying? But until then, it's like, nah, bro, I want to get to that place. I believe that the human condition can get to that point where we don't need none of this shit. Like, for what we use it for, I believe in that. But I'm also like pragmatic, that I'm like, we ain't there yet. Like, Dylan Roof happened. You know,
Who was that to say? Who was that to say? When you arm yourself, you go from subject to citizen. Was that
Right.
Who was that? Thomas Jefferson?
Yep.
Was that Thomas Jefferson?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't even. These are the guys that they saying we supposed to respect. So if they were to say, and they the founders of this place, y'all said I'm supposed to respect this place. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do about a Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. Cool. As a melanated being, if I could do it, all right, cool. At the moment where government says something to the effect that's completely contradictory to those framing documents, like saying turn in all of them guns, that's absolutely the time when you're not supposed to turn in them guns. Because they want you to turn in the guns because they doing something that you probably would shoot them for, right? So to me, it's like, nah, bro, I exist in that middle ground, and if I'm wrong and the government is going to be great here moving forward, I'm good with this wrong because nothing happens. Nothing happens. You know what I mean? And I want to really appreciate that point that you made about like, yo, sometimes you giving it too much energy and like, yo, here they come. And it's like, nah, they may not, but just be prepared if they do. And if they don't, you know, you in a happy place. You know what I mean?
Yo, Tom the 5'9", when yo Royce, when you said when you mentioned Thomas Jefferson, my mind was like, yeah, he probably wanted you to have him guns so he could protect you from taking his slaves. Is what the fuck he was doing, old bitch ass. I hate Thomas. I hate Thomas Jefferson. Just like I know I hate that motherfucker, man. I'm cussing. I hate him. But anyway, man, Maj, man, appreciate you, brother. Great insight. Great talk, man. It's wonderful to see what you're doing. Just also wanted to see where your head was at. You know what I'm saying? As a fellow kind of like, well, you're not a gun nut. I am a gun nut. I'm actually worse. I got all kinds of shit laying around. But appreciate to see that the way you approaching it, the way you carrying it. You know that it's about de-escalation first. And man, I would love to come and be a part of one of your classes when all this COVID stuff kind of break down and see if you can outshoot me. You know, at 1,300 yards. Let's see what's happening.
I probably can't.
You can teach me, Maj.
Right.
All right, that's Maj Toure. Tell us real quick, where can people find out more information?
Everybody can hit me on social media. I'm shadow banned on Instagram. My main page at Maj Toure.
Oh, this is one of Royce's homeboys. Go ahead, Maj. My bad. What did you say? Say it again.
MAJTOURE. Official on Instagram, official Black Guns Matter. All of the work that we do is completely free to the people. We crowdfund. We do have a GoFundMe page. We do have a nonprofit. But if anybody hears this today and wants to support the work, GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter. We raised the money and already gave it away. We ain't the like, oh, when we get this $10 million. No, we raise it and we give it away for the classes. It's already gone, right? So if anybody wants to deal in conflict resolution, de-escalation, basic firearms safety handling, a tad of political education in regards to the Second Amendment, you know, hit me. And if you are going through something right now, man, like seriously, like, you know, we talked about a lot of things tonight, but like if you're going through something, man, DM me. I don't give a fuck what time it is, man. Just know, like, your life matters. You have value. Let's just chop it up, man. You know, especially like dudes that's like vets. There's like 22 veterans that kill themselves every day. You know what I mean? And if you're going through some shit like that, this is my open invitation. DM me, at me, say, yo, Maj, I just DM'd you. I'm going through something. Let's talk about it. Let's chop it up. Let's not add to that statistic of, you know, so-called gun violence and you taking your life. I would rather you be here. We all would rather you be here. You know, and then later on, 2 years from now, we laugh at the shit that you was going through. You know, so that's pretty much it.
My brother, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate you.
Thank you all.
All right.
I'm finna go shoot some shit up. Is what I'm finna do, Royce. I feel inspired to go shoot up 8 or 9 things earlier today.
Now, calm down. Now, calm down.
They calm myself down.
Y'all know what I'm about to do.
You finna eat some
Cake.
That's all you've been thinking about was cake and cake. Hey, I actually thought that was interesting. I learned quite a bit on that.
Really good, man.
So, yeah, he was good. He was good.
Shout out to Maj Toure. But yeah, if you can, ladies and gentlemen, find a better way to solve your problems. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Find a better way to solve your problems. Definitely. But maybe better help. You know what I'm saying? Better help.
Learn how to fight.
Learn
how to fight.
Or maybe archery.
Learn how to fucking fight.
You don't want
That's what y'all need to do.
I will say this though.
Learn how to throw.
I will say this though, is that people will find a way to be violent, and even if you did have a decrease in guns, you would see a decrease in gun violence, and I think you would see a certain decrease in violence overall, depending on the stability, the economics of the environment and the places that you live. But you take a place like the UK, since we're shedding light on violence, knife violence is a thing in the UK. It is a big thing and a big deal, and it's a problem in the streets of the UK. So,
and has it skyrocketed after they eliminated guns from general society.
The UK never really had like a gun crazy problem like that. But again, it's like finding a way to, you know, dispense violence in the world easily, right? Via a knife without having to use your hands and your feet. But, you know, just know that not to underplay the tool that you use. Where there's a will, there's a way. And hopefully we find a more peaceful means of getting through our issues. You know?
Spoken like a true G.
Deuces Lupe Fiasco. Boom, boom. Bam, bam. Bang, bang. Gang, gang.
And this is Royce the 5'9". Boom, boom. Bap, bap. Boom, bap. Boom, bap. Bap, bap.
And this is Tom Frank. We made it through another one, the Lupe and Royce Show. Thanks for listening. Hey, and remember, 707-276-6261. Leave us a voicemail. Maybe you'll get on next week. That's our show for the week. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe or follow. Leave us a review and tell your friends to listen. The Lupe and Royce Show is a production of Say What Media. It's recorded and mixed by Claude Jennings. Our head writer is Lauren Sloat. I'm Tom Frank. And our theme music is by, who else? Lupe Fiasco and Royce the 5'9".